Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. This video is brought to you by First Detachment Nutrition. Battle tested, expert formulated. Use discount code AB10 at checkout for 10% off. What's going on, guys?
Not so much. How you going?
Good. Chase is going to train with Tommy John, so shout out to Tommy John and Chase. And Kurt had a client that he had to go train, and God only knows where Todd is. He's probably peeling the aluminum foil off his windows in his bedroom right now.
He'll be rolling in.
He'll be rolling in at some point. I think Todd, we have our group chat that we have. I think Todd joins in about 5 p.m. every day.
Yeah.
It's funny. He's into Vampire the Masquerade, and he lives his life that way. Yeah.
He is authentic. He is definitely authentic. It's hilarious. Like, oh, there's Nick. All right, we got Nick now.
Oh, what's up, Nick? What's up, you animal?
Nick's bringing the class to the podcast.
Yeah, better quality and everything. You're still really quiet, but
yeah, you got to pull the mic closer.
There you go. Nope.
Deep throat it.
Yeah, that's the bad thing with these things. You got to get them right up in your face.
Can you hear me now? It's like blocking the.
Barely.
I don't know. Maybe I've got it.
You got to turn the gain up on the back.
Oh shit! Okay, now it'll be louder.
Is it even connected?
Yeah, it's connected. Yeah. I don't know if I turned it down or up then.
I can hear it.
You need to go into your audio settings and turn up the gain in the Windows settings. The audio settings for the input.
Let's not bore the audience with technical support.
Make sure the slider's all the way to the right. Okay, that's all the text.
Oh, is that louder?
A little bit. The simple solution is just to get it closer. There goes my dog, by the way.
And turn the gain all the way up. Yeah. I had to, sometimes like Windows updates will happen and my audio settings will get reset and I have to fuck with this shit all the time. So
people are going to be loving this one. The dog barking, everybody's eating food.
Yeah.
I had multiple people reach out to me last week. One dude is like, you guys need to be professionals and not eat on air. It's really annoying. And I'm like, bro, nobody's getting paid to do this. We're just having fun.
Have you ever heard of a bodybuilder that doesn't eat?
I know. I'm like literally like I have like an hour
talking
window
to
between
people who make their living off of being professional eaters, asking them not to, and being like, "Yo, could you not eat?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I eat every 2 to 3 hours, so like it takes me about an hour to get my food done because I'm a slow eater. So it's like I literally have a 1 hour window when I'm not eating between meals.
I wish I was a slow eater, man. I just literally inhale food. It's actually bad quality.
Yeah. Well, see, I went to the Cheesecake Factory for the first time tonight, and I literally inhaled my cheesecake. I got the Cinnabon cheesecake. I inhaled a whole piece in literally a minute. Like,
wow. Just a quick 2,000 calories.
Yeah.
Is that a Rode mic or what is the brand?
Yeah, it's a Rode mic, but I don't know. Is it quiet?
It's getting better.
Aim the front of it towards your face.
Oh, so like that?
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It sounds fine to me. Maybe it's just a touch quiet, but you know, how far from your mouth is it when you're speaking?
It blocks the camera. That's the only issue.
All right. Well, you can mess with the setup, another time. I think it sounds good enough for now.
Yeah.
So about that far, yeah, that's about as far as I am from mine.
I'll try play around with it a bit and figure it out.
That's better.
Yeah, I think it sounds fine now.
Yeah, Nick's gonna throw that mic through those big glass panel windows at some point.
Yeah.
Last week he came on here so heated I thought something was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Did you get it replaced? What happened?
Yeah. So basically, I went in right. Oh wait, actually, if I sit over here, it doesn't get in the way, so I'll just do this. 1 minute. This is such a pain. I have to figure out a better setup. So
Titanic.
I took it to the actual like physical store because I bought it online from a physical store. And I thought it was going to be a big hassle because in Australia, if you return a product, you have to get the receipt like processed, have to print out a new receipt, that sort of thing, like transfer the funds back to the like shop or whatever, and then you have to purchase a new one. But here he's just like, he just took the broken one, didn't even look at it, and he just tells me to go grab a new one off the shelf. I was like, okay.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Perfect. It tells me that you're not the first person to complain about this issue.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's the case. So.
I like the Sherbank better, but they're kind of expensive.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at them. I think it was an extra $100 or $150 for the Shure mic.
So we want to talk about Zac Efron. We were talking about this beforehand, man.
I thought you'd never ask. I spend all podcasts, every podcast, waiting for somebody to ask to talk about Zac Efron.
Have you seen him recently?
Yeah, he looks insane. It looks like he's wearing a bodysuit.
I went to the new Godzilla movie last night, and it was on the previews, and I was like, "That's not normal, dude. Like, he looks way different."
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Here he is.
Not just a haircut.
This is him now. I have the various phases. This is where we started.
Yeah. Did you find? You got to find him in Baywatch also, because that's like his in between. That was like, I think, one of his first forays.
Yeah, this is it. This is where he started.
Mm.
And then let me pull it over to this.
That was what he looked like before the movie. Okay, that's during Baywatch. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first.
I remember Mark Bell talking about this look for Baywatch, and you know how Tren was definitely involved.
Yeah, there's definitely like Winstraw or Tren in this for sure.
Yeah, it looks hard.
And then we finish here.
Palumboism happening.
There is definitely some HGH going on there, man.
He's just a lot more retentive.
Yeah. He's obviously relaxing there. Like if he like flexed, I think his midsection would be tighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is definitely a candid shot.
Put on a decent amount of size though. For somebody like, you can tell he doesn't really have the genetics to put on a lot of mass. Like, so he's done a good job given like the hand that he was dealt.
He actually grew a little bit of calves too. If you go from the first picture, of all things, getting his training.
Yeah.
He looks more like a men's physique competitor in the earlier pictures, and now he's kind of getting into bodybuilder territory.
He like, it's interesting because he still looks pretty lean. Like you can tell around his shoulders and even like where his chest and shoulder separation is. He looks relative. It just looks like there's more water underneath him or something like that.
Yeah, that's that HGH D ball look. What do you guys think he's taking? Let's hear some speculation.
It's like I always kind of doubt Hollywood and what their intellectuals are telling people to do when it relates to performance.
I'm sure it's stupid.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like stupid. I'm sure it's word of mouth. They don't want anything on paper. So I would imagine it's probably like just extrapolating from Arnold Schwarzenegger's era. Like there's probably some guy out there who works with athletes who's still from that era. So I would imagine it's going to be, you know, D-ball and maybe a touch of growth hormone. And I can't imagine it's much more than that. Like, I don't think they're getting too crazy. I just think it's like, how can we make this individual look really inflated as fast as possible? And I think that would be like the quick answer.
So real retentive drugs, basically.
Yeah.
I can't imagine they're using a crazy injection schedule like maybe we would or something like that. But definitely some growth hormone, some orals involved, whether that be D-ball or Anavar. But I don't see him taking Tren, Masteron, Primo, Test, everything all together.
That looks like D-ball and HGH to me.
Yeah. Definitely rocking that fucking D-ball.
And I mean, you can get those both pharmaceutical grades, so I mean, it's probably the case. I'd think it'd be like a pharmaceutical only kind of situation, because they usually get it prescribed by doctors to them.
Yeah.
Todd just called my phone.
Yeah, he's here. You want to add him?
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you saw it. Yeah, I add him. He's probably calling you like, why aren't you adding me to the show?
I didn't see him.
I figured you couldn't see me. It's like you're not going to not include me. It's just like that was why I was like, I know Paul's phone is not going to be on, and then I call and I see you like looking at it. I'm like, oh shit! So I stopped calling when I was in the process of texting, and Colin figured out what I was about. Zac Efron, yeah, I was watching. So he got.
What do you think, Todd?
His arms didn't get any bigger, just his waist did. So I think that
his chest and shoulders got a little bit bigger.
His shoulders are definitely bigger.
Let me go back. Because I think he's just not paying attention. I think he could set that in probably.
That's was relaxing his gut too. Like he was probably like he's walking out of the trailer. Like
he's that is like a child. Let's go back to the middle picture. That's like 5% body fat. Look at where his hips are. I mean, there's nothing there. He's shredding that. So he's like really like he's like NPC introductory level men's physique with perfect abs. Like that's probably the best look a girl would like. I would think that's 99% of girls. That's what they want. And then if you look at it like this, he's not any bigger. He's just fatter, and he's not letting his stomach. He's not holding his stomach in. If he got rid of that lower back fat, that shoulder would get a lot smaller.
I don't know. It's like look at how shredded that upper body is. Like you can't obviously tell he's relaxed.
He's still 12%, and the other thing, he was 5%. And when you lose intramuscular fat and intramuscular water, it's going to look smaller, even if you have the same amount of actual muscle tissue.
Yeah,
DJ said, count me in the 1%. You're an anomaly, DJ.
The one thing that had me a little bit like stumped was, is he just not controlling his abdominal, or do you think he's got some accumulation of visceral fat?
I don't know, Todd, if you can pull up the trailer for the movie, but in there he's controlling his abdominal wall, and it's still like very apparently enlarged from what he's typically like. If you've watched they watch to now, it's like what went on?
Okay, so like let's look at this in perspective. Can you do a vacuum when you're off season? Like you can if you're dehydrated?
I mean, I can in the morning, not necessarily in the afternoon.
Well, but I mean, he's not filming in the morning. When they're filming, they might be doing an 18-hour day, and the craft tray and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah. So like, if you watch here, you can still like look at that motherfucker, man.
All right, he's more muscular, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like there's some shit going on, dude.
But to maintain that much muscle, you can't eat 1,200 calories and do the same vacuum. It's hard to do a vacuum against food.
Yeah. I'm always curious about what kind of training they implement on some of these Hollywood transformations too. You know,
watch Israel. Watch Israel's video on this. They don't know what the fuck they're doing in Hollywood.
It's completely awful.
It's like battle ropes and like bag throws.
His face is so much different, though. It's what perplexes me the most. Like right there,
he's older. Isn't he 10 years older than Baywatch?
I don't know.
Yeah, I was pretty 10 years ago too, but it's just not going to happen.
Oh, pump the brakes. It's not lie to the audience.
No, it's amazing how much your face changes as you get older if you're on gear, because you start to like your bone structure changes.
Okay, so you're suggesting that he's been on and never came off for quite some time.
Okay. I mean, he's not natural, and once you go on, you don't come off. You just lie about coming off.
That's how a Toddism is born. He doesn't even realize that he just said something profound, and I'm never going to be able to forget that.
Do you know what's funny about that is we're doing a line of shirts. What do you call it? So we'll include you in the process of recalling choices.
Oh my god! Like, I should text these to myself when they occur to me, because I forget them. But
I like one of them was in the video I just did, and it was perfect, and I forgot it was in a video with DJ. They made a reel out of it. It was, I don't know. Oh, it was
you should do that. Back when I was doing stand up regularly, I still do it, but I just don't get on stage. But like anytime I would think of like a promising premise or like, you know, a pun or a one line or whatever, just text it to myself. So I have like a thread with myself constantly. So do that anytime you have an idea, so you don't forget, you know, because you know as well as I do, these things are ephemeral.
That's why I took.
Alex Hormozy does, and it's kind of a niche topic, but Alex Hormozy does that. The business guy, he tweets his thoughts,
right,
and then he uses it as a screen to make further content in. So like he'll tweet all his ideas, just like randomly spurt them out, even if it's just like a 1-sentence thing, and then whoever interacts with the ideas the most, that's the post that he'll extrapolate on into a whole series of videos or something.
That's pretty smart.
I did that with my Jonestown the musical idea. Remember when I texted the group about how I want to do a Jonestown the musical? Because how much fun would that be? And it's like, and like the audience.
If you get the guys who do South Park on board, then it would really be something.
And then like the audience would all get purple Kool-Aid in the final act because it's like a play. And like to see who drinks it. And if they drink the Kool-Aid, they get their ticket money back. So you just charge double, assuming half of them will drink it, but you don't tell them that.
I like it. I think it's like Wonka-esque.
Oh, for sure.
How do we go from Zac Efron to this?
That's what we do.
It's only Todd can get transferred.
Back on the Zac Efron thing, I like look at his face. That is definitely some plastic surgery.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That I thought maybe it was HGH, but dude,
no,
he's got like fillers and shit going on. I think
he's going full Mickey Rourke.
Yeah. So here's something I think is funny: is I wonder if women realize we can see that they had plastic surgery.
Yeah,
I don't like. This is so odd. Like, look at his lips; they're like stretched out.
He looks creepy.
Looks
he went from
he's
like
had like a histamine response to some sort of like food.
Oh.
Like he's eating like clam shells or something. And...
That's the clam eating face. Is that what you're trying to say here?
Yeah, well, like he's
all
like,
foods for you to
like,
pick.
He's got a,
it's like looks like you've been eating some clams.
A shellfish allergy, and he's like eating shrimp or some shit.
Well, that's totally different.
That's great.
But
people have had like that amount of work done just look like they're in perpetual like beginning stages of shellfish allergy swelling.
That is not going to look good when he's 50.
No, I like it's like Bill what did Bill Burr say? Like you can look like a 50-year-old human or a 30-year-old lizard.
Yeah. Bill Burr has a whole routine about it. I played it for my girlfriend. She did not find it funny.
It's so crazy how she doesn't find Bill Burr funny. I don't know. You got to keep trying.
his whole routine on women's sports. If you got to check that out, it is hilarious.
All of his stuff is funny, and he's one of the funniest stand-up comedians there is. I didn't know there's anyone who doesn't think he's funny.
I think he's our generation's Carlin. Personally,
yes,
I'm sure he wouldn't appreciate me saying that, but that's how I feel.
I was laughing. He was saying like I support women's sports. He's like, oh yeah, who's the MVP of the WNBA?
He says, name your favorite WNBA team.
Name your favorite WNBA
Name the one that's in your state. You can't.
Have you ever heard his podcast? He just talks to himself as
yes,
it's fantastic.
Monday
his wife will overhear something he's talking about. And
you can hear his wife yelling at him.
Yeah, Jackie listens to it like daily.
That's great. Yeah.
What I wanted to say before I forgot, though, I mean, I find it funny with the Zac Efron situation, though. I bet they give he's probably taking some gear like we're talking about growth hormone or D-ball as well, but treating it like treating the transformation chemically like a bodybuilder, yet they'll train him. I imagine they're training him like a boxer and wrestler for the majority of the time. And that's also eliciting that look, where his obliques are bigger, his stomach's a little bit bigger, a lot of core dominant work.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I consider them. I didn't say it was, well, if he's playing a wrestler, he's supposed to look thick. They're not supposed to look thick.
I mean, consider that look is exactly what they wanted him to look like. That's probably,
kind of like
why.
I mean, just think about it.
He's a pretty malleable physique, proven in the past. Like he looked like Baywatch. He successfully looked like a child as a man, as Todd pointed out. And that was, now they want him to look like a tree trunk with Lou Ferrigno hair. So he's doing it.
I didn't know that was an adult picture because he has a baby face and he had a baby body. I
think technically a man, but you do that, you do enough High School Musical, it sets you back a few years.
Is that what he's from? That Disney shit? Okay, I didn't know who he was. Yeah. Until he did that one movie with Seth Rogen where the next door neighbor thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's the first time
the frat
I didn't know
houses and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a vagina, so I wasn't aware of his existence until I saw Seth Rogen movie and he happened to be in it.
It's fair.
There's no coincidence that the best physique in Hollywood, which is The Rock, I think, doesn't Hany Rambod train him? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, like they cordially work together.
They exchange ideas.
Yeah.
There's no coincidence there.
I'm sure he got
Just
the
ideas.
chain lateral
No
raises
drugs.
from him.
No drugs.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a Hany thing? I didn't know that.
No. That's sarcasm. That Hany would never have you do lateral raises with chains.
Oh, okay. I've never seen him do that.
No,
Like the
How do you-
opposite resistance profile to what you'd want to if you're using
Right, exactly. That's exactly my point.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like you couldn't have a dumber exercise than chain lateral raises. Why not just stick your arm at the side with like a can of soup out?
Oh, speaking of Israel, I got him scheduled for an interview this week, so that'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
yeah, we've been chatting a little bit. He's laughing at me trolling the Mentzer guys.
I knew it because I watched that.
Did you say Mentzer or Mensa?
I sent you guys the link to that really long. I think his name's Alexander Bromley. He did like an hour and 45-minute thing about hypertrophy training. That was
He's
like
like
a
a strongman, isn't
documentary.
He's
Yeah,
a
that's
strongman,
what's
yeah.
so cool
Yeah.
is he wasn't a bodybuilder.
Oh, I need to
but
see
he
this.
gave one of the best documentaries ever, starting with like Eugene Sandro and Charles Atlas.
Yeah, I'm gonna
and
watch
George
that.
Hackensack. It was so good, and I was like, this guy isn't trashing, because usually like the theory is power lifters look down on bodybuilders, but he basically was. And then as he got through the arc of the history of it, he actually got into hypertrophy training, and at the very end of the arc was Israel. So it's kind of like he basically was advocating for RP taking all of the knowledge of the last 120 years, and then now that science is caught up with Brolor from the 1890s, now we have Renaissance periodization, and there's terminology for it. But like the dual progression going from like 8 to 12 and then go back to 8 with more weight and then work your way up to 12 reps every week, and then taking deloads and shit, that was something they did 100 years ago.
I wonder if
So
that's
all
why
the-
he called it Renaissance periodization.
That makes sense. Holy shit.
That just
He
occurred
knew
to
it.
me.
He
You
knew
gotta, you
it.
gotta ask him. Is he that smart?
No, he's that smart.
I know he's that smart, but
Well, there's a reason why powerlifters look at bodybuilders like idiots. It's because most bodybuilders train like fucking idiots.
Yep.
I mean, I laugh because like only I don't want to go down the training rabbit hole again because it just gets me hate DMs for 3 days fucking straight afterwards. But like powerlifters have been periodizing forever. Powerlifters don't train to failure.
Yeah.
I mean, just like basically everything that bodybuilders do wrong, the powerlifters, I mean, they're probably the most intelligent at structuring their training. And then, here's your dummy bodybuilder over in the corner swinging the kettlebells and going to failure. And not saying that,
I think
failure is just a variable to modulate, but
a lot of bodybuilders just lack identity, so they get emotionally attached to like their training style and their way of doing things. And
it's a
suddenly
lot of
it's like,
humans.
yeah.
It's like some emo kid that instead of cutting themselves, they train to failure.
It's not a phase, mom. This is who I am.
oh god, I gotta tell you about this idiot that DM'd me this week. I ended up having to block him, but he was like, he said to me that Mentzer's training is a scientifically proven theory, and I'm like, do you understand the scientific method, man? Do you know what the threshold is for scientifically? I think you have a hypothesis, but that is not the threshold for a theory is way higher. And he's like, well, I've done all the studies, and I'm like, oh, you have? And he's like, I've been keeping logbooks for 5 years, and I have all the studies.
God.
I'm like, bro.
1.
Equals 1.
I know. Never heard of that. I asked him, I'm like, bro, that's not science. He goes, yeah, it is. It's natural science.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's only one side of the story. If you're just doing Mentzer's training for 5 years, you don't have something to compare it to for 5 years of the complete
I mean, the real scientific method is
Washed
to state a hypothesis and then test against it. It's not testing with it.
You're trying to prove yourself wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, no, it's not confirmation bias, my man. It literally, I can't imagine how these PhDs are got to feel when they have these dummies coming at them.
Oh my God.
Telling them this shit, and you just got to be sitting there. It's no wonder guys like punch out. Like
you have a different audience and a bigger audience than any of the PhDs except for Mike.
Yeah, Mike. Well, Mike's got like 1 million. I talk to Dante Trudell every now and then, but I think he just like completely gave up. It's just
he's just fed up with.
Did you talk to Dante about widening the mouths on his protein jars?
That was actually yeah. No, that was another brand. I shouldn't say that. Oh, this is a good one for you guys. I usually don't use protein powder. I didn't use any on contest prep, but sometimes like if I have a hard time getting the food down, I'll have a shake for one meal. So I got my jug of protein powder out the other day, and I went to go put my hand in it to get the scoop out. I could not fit my hand in the mouth of the fucking protein jug.
It's a good problem.
I have problems.
The strongman competitor I have, his name's EJ, and he's like 300 pounds in season, and he has to. His wife will have to like do his protein powder or supplements for him because he literally like his fingers won't fucking fit into the shit. And it blows me away. The dude's hands are like a fucking basketball size hand. It's just ridiculous.
Well, that's why you just transfer it to a jar, like a bigger container, right? Like you do it once. Right. You just take the lid off. I'm going to walk people through this. You take the lid off. You take the container. You pour the shit into when the scooper comes up, stop, pull the scooper out, shake it off. Pour the rest into the container, put the scooper on top, put the lid on the bigger container, take the tub, give it to your cat. And then you now have the container that you can open the top and then take scoops out and your hand will fit in it.
Yeah. The best part you missed there is you have to get the Anavar capsules and then split them open and then pour the powder in the jar.
And then you give it to like
your
fat children.
Or fat children, either one.
Spikes up. Yeah.
Oh man.
Curing the obesity of the young. Well, fuck! I can't even speak right now. I'm fucked.
That brings up
the cheesecake.
Cheesecake Factory Coma.
It's hit me. Because I didn't just have one slice of cheesecake. I had other stuff.
What you have?
Let's run through it.
Like roadside sliders, a filet mignon with the mashed potatoes and cheesecake. I had some frozen yogurt after.
Oh yeah.
Well, now you're eating cereal.
That's an epic meal.
Yeah, I just had a bowl of chicken and rice. I'm gonna eat more food though.
I would feel so bad. I would be sick for days after that.
The cheesecakes wrecked me out because I usually don't eat fats, so it messes me up.
I can't do sweets, man. I love meats and like hearty stuff, sushi, hamburgers, but sweets is like it just fucks me.
What's your like dessert go to though? Like you have anything you do
on
for
your birthday?
Yogurt. I love yogurt. Like I'll eat yogurt all day long. That shit's delicious.
I can do a carrot cake usually, but
Do you dress your yogurt up at all?
Oh yeah, I put all sorts of crazy shit in there, like oats and honey, and I'm not really crazy, but like.
Well, not bad. I mean, now now you're starting to venture into dessert territory.
Yeah, and then like a little bit of nut butter too. Oof.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I can
do some protein powder.
Yeah,
I can do sweets all day long. I can't do fats.
Yeah, you're like a chocolate guy, Paul, right? You like your M&M's chocolate?
Yeah, I like chocolate. I used to, but I stay away from it now. This week I trying to push my calories up a little bit because I haven't been gaining that much weight since the show, and I got an entire family bag size of Swedish fish. Killed it in 2 days. Just munching on it between meals. I didn't realize how much I ate.
That's what I used to do when I was working with Justin. I used to have gummy bears next to my chair when I would watch Netflix, and I would just eat gummy bears all day in between meals, and I would get another 500 grams of sugar in a day just from doing that.
The issue with me with gummy bears, like especially right now, I get jaw pumps. Like I can't. Like, my jaw will start cramping up.
So you don't use the Harborough brand, use the Albanese brand. The white bag where they're in a circle rather than the, what do you call it, goose stepping bears.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I know the ones you're talking about.
Doesn't the Harborough brand have like it doesn't have the corn syrup? It has like straight fructose in it. Isn't that why it's like
dextrose, right?
Yeah, I think it has
dextrose. Yeah, it has dextrose in it.
It's still, or what you do is you sit on the bag and warm it up so that they get softer, and then then when you pull the bag out, you can, like, it's all warm, and you can, it'd be like Ferris Day Off. That was the best part of the movie, is when she gives them the melted, warm gummy bears from her pocket.
That is the most Todd answer that I've ever heard.
Well, you don't fart into the gummy bears; just sit on them.
Oh, you underestimate me.
Yeah.
Honestly,
but isn't
with Colton, I can't do the super sweet shit usually.
Yeah,
I like rice, a bowl of Rice Krispies, frozen blueberries, and a protein shake poured over it. That will just hit the spot for me.
Yeah.
That's literally my go-to all the time.
Yeah.
Frozen blueberries on honey bunches of oats with a little protein powder or something like that.
It sounds delicious, actually.
Regular corn syrup, not high fructose corn syrup. Regular corn syrup is glucose anyway, right? Yeah, right. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So you're okay there.
I got some interesting news. So yesterday I tried to do the 18 Serostim thing, doing 6 at 3 different intervals, but there was a situation with my knee and I had to shut down. So I was like, I don't want to waste this. I'm going to have, the more Serostim I did, the more my hurt knee was getting more inflamed. And then I would put BPC in the knee thinking it's going to make it better. Then it got so bad, I couldn't bend my knee. And so I was like, well, this is a totally fucked experiment because I have to take ibuprofen and Tylenol just to be able to walk up and down the stairs. I never take that shit. So I aborted and I switched to like normal metotropin. And then I did one stint of genotropin. So I ended up hitting like 24 GH yesterday by the end of the day. And I had like 700 carbs on a rest day. I just did my blood glucose after actually hydrating and giving enough time for the hydration to kick in. It's 77. I have not had any Lantus or nothing yet.
Wow.
So I'm actually blasting, like, not that I'm going to continue to blast 24 GH a day, but you could use 24 GH, not do anything but watch Netflix because your leg hurts. That's how you know your steps are that. If you have to take painkillers to walk, you're not getting a lot of steps in. And I didn't take my insulin this morning just to make sure. And boom. And after 700 carbs yesterday, it's still a 77.
Wow.
That's wild. That's what Kurt had experienced too.
You using berberine or metformin or anything else?
I just started using berberine. I used, I think, 500 milligrams yesterday because I had an artifactual 102, and I was like, I'm never over 80. So it was a dehydrated 102, but it was 102. Oh, also I only slept 5 hours last night. So that, and also there's stress. Yeah, that should rate, but it didn't. It was 77. Even with all of these contributing factors, that should have made it into like the 200s.
Mine is never that low fasted, like 90 at best.
You think it because you converted to so much IGF-1 that it just started acting?
No, it's just, I think that's just me. I probably am one of the rare people that doesn't need the Lantus, but the Lantus does stimulate my appetite.
What's 3.7 millimole per liter? Because that's what mine is usually fasted.
Fuck if I know.
That's pretty good. That's like 74 usually.
Oh, okay. That's not bad.
Oh, is it 20-to-1 ratio?
Yeah, about.
Okay.
Todd, was your water consistent between those two?
I mean, I'm up 4 pounds a day, so I was 224.7 this morning. Okay. Which, and I went back and I looked at my logs, and the lack of sleep doesn't account for that. Normally, if I sleep 8 hours, I'm 218. If I slept 5 hours, I'm 220. And I've been alternating between those amounts. So today I woke up after 5 hours of sleep, and I was 224.7. I checked my weight 7 times because I couldn't believe I gained an extra 6 pounds. I also did my arm and leg measurements to see if they're the same as they were when I was 218, and they are. So I don't know where that extra water is, but
I've been alternating a bottle of Serostim and a bottle of the generic every other day, every alternating days. That's what I've been doing. Well, at least for 2 weeks now.
So do you do the whole bottle at night?
No, I was doing fasted in the AM, pre-workout, and then before bed, but I was just getting so tired during the day. I could barely keep my eyes open. So the last 2 nights I've jammed it all before bed, and the tiredness has been better. So we'll see.
I figured that's the reason why they do it that way, is the compliance of 1 shot a day, and because the biggest side effect people experience when you manage the overhydration with the mannitol that they put in most of those brands is the fact that you fall asleep sitting in a chair. You fall asleep at the movies. I fell asleep at a funeral once, and it's like, yeah, I had pneumonia, so I got off the hook. But I basically fell asleep while I was sitting in a funeral. I can't sit still on GH and not pass out. And it makes it hard to go to the gym because you're so tired you don't want to go. So I understand why someone wouldn't do it multiple times a day. But you have to think the reason why you're tired is from the IGF-1. So by doing it all at night, you're missing a lot of windows to spike your IGF-1 and stimulate growth.
Yeah.
So it's like, why are you doing it? Are you doing it to do it, or are you doing it to grow? And if you're doing it to grow, then probably at least do 2 to 4 units earlier in the day, 1 or 2 times.
Wasn't Chase doing all of his at night?
He was doing all his at night. Then he switched. Then he went back. And then Kurt was doing them AM, PM, and he switched to all PM. And but Kurt was getting hand numbness, and that hand numbness went away. So he actually had side effects to mitigate other than tiredness. So, I mean, it makes sense to do it that way. And I was going to try it for a week, do a whole bottle of Metatrope at bedtime every night, and then switch to a whole bottle of Serostim at bedtime every night and see if something was different about it. But so far, I mean, I figured what's the smartest thing to do is change only one variable at a time. And if I was doing 6 3 times a day, switch to 6 Serostim 3 times a day on the exact same dosing schedule. Yeah. Like 12 and 6, 12 and 6, 12 and 6. Yeah. Right, exactly. And you don't want to waste the Serostim because it's hard to get. It's not even the money, it's the availability of it. So I properly,
I was gonna say, I haven't had any hand numbness so far.
Well, you splitting up the doses though, correct?
Well, I was, and then I switched to all at night, so we'll see if that affects it. Yeah. But I've had 0 hand numbness so far.
I've had some clients that we aim for a certain amount of units for the day, and depending on side effects, we'll start breaking the doses up if we do get hand numbness or if we do get overtiredly during the day. We'll move.
I remember when 4 units used to make me my hands go numb, and it doesn't even affect me anymore. Maybe that's why my hands don't fit in the protein jug anymore. I've like surpassed that point.
Yeah, I can't find squat shoes that my feet will fit in because they make them longer, but they don't make them wider.
Yeah, they're super narrow. Hey.
No, don't even tell me about shoes, man. I wear 15 and a half.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Fucking impossible to find shoes anywhere. I was going to ask you guys thoughts, man. I did the math. Like, my off season is going to be really short if I'm competing in July. Like, I've got like 18 weeks from today until prep starts.
Shit.
Shut it down.
What's that?
North America. I would wait for North American because you need that 18 weeks.
I mean, North Americans is only 4 weeks after Masters Nationals.
It's I think it's 6 weeks.
Maybe not. I mean, you got a better shot at Masters Nationals because they give out multiple pro cards, and North Americans only does one.
I think North Americans does 4 because that's where I got my pro card. Was North American.
They only do 1 for the Masters classes. At least they did this year.
Oh, they did? Because they gave 4 out for over 35 and 4 out for over 40 with the last couple of times.
Oh, no. For the over 50, it was only 1.
Ah, okay. How many are they giving out at Masters for over 50?
2.
2?
2 is what they did last year.
You probably should do over 50 and over 40 just because that gives you 6 chances. But I see your point. What was your original question going to be? I thought
Well,
you were
I was just
should I?
I was just wondering if I should just throw the gas pedal down right now. Like I'm tempted to just. Usually I pull back. Like I'm running 750 test and 600 Primo right now, which is not really pulling. That Nick said that's his normal off-season cycle. I feel like I'm cruising on that.
No, that's the highest I've ever gone. The highest I've gone is
Which is
my
insane.
last push up. Yeah, it was like 1.2, and then the last 2 weeks I said, "Fuck it, I'm just going to go to what I thought was big boy doses, which is 1.5 grams."
But I feel pretty good.
Yeah,
I've been thinking about just getting my blood work done if everything checks out and just go full chase irons on it.
I mean,
Well,
we might as well.
I personally vouch for that method because it's like if you're getting blood work pulled every 8-ish weeks, you can just like the thing is you don't have to get advanced blood work too. You could get like a CBC CMP and it would tell you most of what you need to know and if there's more to look into. But I would just do that continuously, and then if you do notice an issue flaring up, then it's like, okay, maybe I do need to pull back. But I think also implementing a shorter ester might be useful in this scenario in the event that you did have some sort of experience, right? But I think it's like, dude, how long are you going to be doing this in reality? And it's, you know, is this going to be a lifelong goal, or is this year going to be something that's really serious for you?
I mean, this is probably one. I'm going to give it 1 or 2 more pushes, and then I'll hang the opposing trunks up.
Yeah.
So this is kind of the last dance.
Well, I mean, what's the highest you've ever ran? Because you don't want to overshoot that. But for instance, I was just in your boat.
Go ahead.
One
no. On this contest prep, I think my total load got up to about 2.5.
All right. Well, you know you can handle 2.5, no problem. So I would just go up to 3 grams.
Yeah.
I think one thing also to consider is like you can throttle down on the gear, you know, and not seem to have a problem. But I mean, also physically with the training, you're going to want to just continue to progress and ramp up and see how you have to anticipate how am I going to feel when day 1 of prep starts. You know, if you don't have enough, you know, if you're already in the tank, you know, running on empty, I'd almost say you need a little more time. But
yeah,
you know,
I mean, I can evaluate that.
Gear up, but the fatigue of the body of training too is also something to consider from that time.
Yeah, and that's hard to predict. So that's sort of like the part where I just like have to see how I am when I get there. I surprisingly, man, I feel pretty good for coming out of prep, man. My appetite's finally coming back. My joints feel fresh. I mean, I didn't push the training that hard towards the end of prep. I feel like ready to go.
I say go.
So if you're at 7,
your bloods are good.
You're at 750, 600.
Yeah, and then the full bottle of HGH every day.
Right. So I think like obviously 1,500, 1,200 would be exactly double. That seems to be like a lot to jump all at once.
I would probably titrate up to it. But
you're doing test and Primo?
Yeah, test
I
Primo.
find as doses escalate, you need less Primo to like counteract the aromatization.
Yeah,
so
that's what I had last year.
So 2 grams of test, 1 gram of Primo, I reckon it'd be a good ballpark.
I think at my end of my contest or end of my off season last year, I ended up at, because I pulled the Primo back down. I ended up at, where did I end up at? I think I ended up at 1 gram of Primo a week and 1,500 of test.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe maybe 1,750 test and 1,250 Primo or something like that.
And my estradiol was like right around 50 at that.
I was just going to ask that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe 17.
Or I even thought about going half Primo, half Masteron, but I don't know. I just don't find Masteron contributes much to size. I think it's helps more with body composition.
Well, I mean, we don't know of anyone who's ever ran Mast in the off season instead of Primo, except for John Jewett, and he really exploded this last off season and between the 2 shows. I mean, he went from getting second and first as a 212 to getting second as an open. He put on like 40, 50 pounds.
Oh, I didn't realize he moved to open.
Yeah, he got second in Legion and open.
I think the big confounding factor there too, though, is that he didn't have to meet a weight cap. So it's like, was that part of it that led him
not
to that
holding himself back anymore, sort of thing?
Right.
Well, but he did but he was coming in at 204 last time he competed in 2021. So he was coming in at 204, and then he did this, got up to 260 using Masteron and Primo both, and then he cut using just Masteron. Then he basically stayed on it, and now he just started his off season, and he's doing 1 to 2 tests to Masteron, and he's
has he said somewhere what he's using, or was that privately?
It was all in our group chat. Me and Chase and Kurt have a conversation about it. That basically, I don't want to. He put it in a private paywall area, so I don't want to say. But he's doing very similar to what I'm doing, and I thought it was very strange that I guessed randomly at this equation, and this is exactly where he's at.
Great minds.
He's stealing your content, Todd.
No,
lawsuit.
if anything, I just stole his content for so long. I can anticipate what he thinks, and then when I make an action, it's identical to the one he was going to do.
But everybody,
you're the only leading PED expert in the world, Todd. You need to submit.
let's give credit where credit is due. Everybody stole everything from Victor Black originally.
Yeah, true.
And then we stole it from the people that stole it from Victor Black, who stole it from somebody else. So
we all are just the product of Victor Black.
Yep.
It's actually where the notion
all
of sin comes from. Is everybody stealing from Victor Black? That's.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about just saying fuck it and just pushing up because I have a short window.
Are you going to change your training around to try to? I know you said your back was. Points.
I met with. Do you guys know who Danny LaMartina is?
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, Danny. I met with her this weekend, and she went through my back workout with me. And
was she in Washington?
She was here. Yeah, she was here. But basically, it's what I say when people aren't progressing a body part. She went through and showed me how my form was fucked up on a lot of my back movements. And I was engaging rear delt and traps a lot more than actual rhomboids and lats. She was showing me how I was delt dominant on everything, which makes sense because my rear delts are gigantic and I barely train them.
She makes me feel very insecure.
Yeah, me too.
She is so strong.
So fucking strong.
I think deadlift more than I've ever been able to deadlift in my life.
Pound for pound, Paul was saying pound for pound, she's got to be one of the strongest people on the fucking planet. Like, full stop.
we were on, what was it, the Atlantis chest press machine the last time she was in town?
Yeah.
And like the guys were doing 5 plates on it, and she hops on there, rips out reps with 5 plates on each side.
Yeah,
dude, that's stupid.
And she's like 140 pounds.
Yeah, it defies logic.
It like makes no sense.
Super impressive.
Her and Dave both crazy strength.
Yeah.
Dave has one of the biggest asses I've ever seen in the world. It's crazy.
It's all the deadlifts he does.
Yeah, dude. Crazy.
It must be a Dave thing because I don't train glutes at all, and my ass is just always the same.
You have a dump truck.
No.
He has one and he drives one.
I'm over here with white guy ass.
Paul's got the Hank Hill syndrome.
I definitely have the Hank Hill syndrome.
A lot of people
runs in my
rip on
family.
hip thrusts. Like a lot of people rip on hip thrusts, but it was honestly a bit of a game changer in my glute development. Like I was a strong deadlifter when I used to powerlift. Like I deadlifted, my best deficit deadlift was like 7 plates for 3 or 4 reps. And that was at 220 pounds body weight. So I was a strong deadlifter, but I mean, I definitely noticed glute development when I started doing heavy. It was a Nautilus glute drive. I used that machine. I love it.
Yeah, I tried some hip thrusts this weekend. This week. I've never done them before. I probably need to practice them a little bit, but I could not feel them for shit.
I'm pretty sure the main cue you need to keep in mind for hip thrusts is just maintain eye contact with whomever's walking by.
The closest
I heard that
be the male.
online somewhere.
Yeah. The crazy chick at the gym.
And remember that we have the butt blaster at the gym too, Paul. I know you've been overlooking the butt blaster, but
we've been using the
glute
thrust machine. I think that one's Atlantis also, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or is
that one's it's good. It's just like you do these like weighted donkey kicks, with your heel.
Yeah,
pressing with your heel. Like
I feel those are my glutes.
Yeah, me too. Man, I haven't been to the fucking gym in a couple weeks. I've been goddamn ill. I don't think I've ever been this or ill for this long in my life. Like it wasn't on my deathbed. I just couldn't I couldn't go to the gym. Like it was too sick for that. I'm so
like
glad to
everyone's
be
getting
better,
better now.
man. Something
Yeah, a
going
lot of
around.
my clients have been sick.
Mm-hmm.
A ton of my clients have been sick.
It's funny. I can tell when I will get something or someone around me will, because my clients on that week's check-in will be like, I'm sick. It's like I got like 12 check-ins.
Yeah.
All like, I'm sick. I'm like, oh shit, something's going around.
Like law of averages, it's only a matter of time.
Chase's balls deep is the cue. 100%.
Oh shit.
No, what was Ed Cohen's cue? He told me in one of his workshops when he was in Australia, was open your taint.
Yeah, open your taint. Yeah, I've heard Ed say that before. He followed me the other day. I was like, wow.
Ed
That's
Cohen.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wicked.
I've met him a couple times just casually. He's a super nice guy.
Yeah.
Super nice. He is the GOAT.
Yeah, and he was the most jacked powerlifter of his time, and like go figure, he used to train like a bodybuilder the majority of the year. Like, goes to say something, like he used to do a lot of accessories and stuff. So like, I mean, yeah, a lot of powerlifters I think really neglect their accessory work, and that's a big reason why they look like.
He has some of the longest arms I've ever seen. Like for a guy his size, like he's made to deadlift. Like he only has to move the bar like 6 inches. It's pretty wild.
His conventional range of motion is like somebody's sumo range of motion.
I know.
Yeah,
it's pretty wild. And he's still strong as fuck too. And he's in his 60s, mid 60s, I think.
Awesome.
His bench was insane heavy for somebody with such long arms. I think he used to bench like 500 plus pound or something stupid.
Insane.
Yeah, he's wild. He's wild.
He has orangutan arms. Yeah, it's crazy.
What have you guys been keeping up with nationals this weekend?
A little bit.
Justin's got a bunch of guys competing.
Yeah, I saw that, dude. Holy shit, man.
Yeah, he flew down. If Justin went to a show, Justin never goes to shows, you know he's got a bunch of people competing.
Yeah. So I was watching Destination Dallas had the live stream up yesterday for the females, and the women's physique category had a lot of females, but none of them had like, there's like the top 3 had really leaner lower body portions, but I think outside of the top 3, everyone had sort of chubbier glutes and hamstrings. What do you, because Paul, I don't know if you even coach these kind of females, but I've seen you post a couple, and I've coached, 1 or 2, but not to the degree where they're able to get shredded glutes and corded out hamstrings. Is there like a secret to this, Todd? Maybe like what are these girls doing wrong that they're not getting fucking
estradiol management?
Peanut butter.
I actually knew you were going to say
another Toddism that needs to go on a t-shirt. You can't trust women with nut butter.
What are these women wrong? Peanut butter. If you want your client to fail and it's a woman, the best thing you can do is give them any nut butter on their diet, because they are not measuring that shit.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah.
I almost wonder if those girls just haven't gotten truly lean. I mean, once in their life, like all the way down. So that way, when they lean out and they continue to lean out for these shows, leaning out consistently. Like I've noticed that on myself. The leaner I get every year, going into a rebound, you lean out more
easier.
Yeah.
Right. Jackie had shredded glutes. She's a freak.
Yeah, Jackie was lean as shit, dude.
Todd had to keep her in line so she didn't get too shredded. It feels like,
It's easy though. Like if you're one of those people that you just like push yourself harder when you get deeper into a prep, it's really easy to overshoot it. Like and just over diet yourself.
Mm.
DJ
last call out.
Nut butter is guaranteed prep fail or last call out for females. We need to get DJ back on here.
Yeah.
She probably can come on right now.
Crowd favorite.
If she's watching it, then she can do it.
She can come on.
With Jackie, was she just doing? She said she's a freak, but was she just doing like obscene amounts of cardio, or what was it?
No, I don't think she ever got over 20-25 minutes.
Shut the
session.
That's great. How much does she weigh?
I think she was on stage at like 126-ish, maybe 127.
What did she lose? Like 2 pounds on prep?
Like 4.
She lost like
just full recomp through prep.
Yeah,
she just got leaner and her weight stayed the same. It was wild to watch.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And then what's great now is she's 133, maybe not 133 anymore. She might be 130. She went 133.7, I think, right now. And she looks like a completely different person than she did the last time she was 133.
Yeah. She's a great example of good genetics. Like she's the silhouette of figure. Like that's what she's meant to be.
I mean, she deserves some credit though. I mean, she's a perfect executor. I think that we never see a woman actually follow a plan. That's why it's so impressive when they do. And when they do everything right, then it's kind of like, well, it's just good genetics. I remember like Flex Wheeler used to take it as an insult if people told me he had good genetics. He took it as them saying he's lazy.
Yeah.
Right. But so like I hate to discredit her by saying she's got good genes. I just think Jackie does what she's fucking told.
Yeah.
And
it's both. Client. It's like, hard work beats talent when talent refuses to work hard. She's both. She's like, fucking up there with someone who's supremely gifted and has the talent and dedication to stick with it to the very end.
Well, the nice thing is she's got good genetics, and she's got good genetics and she knows it, but she works harder than any girl I've ever seen. So when you couple crazy good work ethic and she's on point, and then the genetics tail along, you're just going to put a good package on stage.
What do they say? Success is when hard work meets potential.
It's so rare.
I have to hold her back. That's the number one thing is I have to hold her back because she will get hurt if she just does what she wants. I have to put limits on her training a lot. Like she's not allowed to press anything that's so heavy she can't do 12 reps, stuff like that, because she'll strain herself so hard she'll squeeze her neck when she's.
Should we pop her Instagram up? Someone's asking who we're talking about.
Yeah, here we go.
I was just shocked because I hadn't seen much from her, and then I saw a couple videos being posted. I was like, Jesus, man, like it's
her first show.
Yeah. This is her first show?
Yeah.
She won the overall in her first two shows.
First two shows.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she's got a world class physique. And
how long has she been training, Dave? It's just a couple of years, right?
Well, 5 solid. Yeah, 5 solid.
That's insane. Yeah, dude.
Shredded glutes.
Yeah, glutes.
That's what I told her. I was like, you just brought a Gatling gun to a knife fight. Calm down. The only thing you can do is stress out. The only way you can fuck this up is stressing out. You have nothing to there's no way you can lose. There's nobody in that state that can compete with you. Just chill the fuck out. It's going to be fine. It doesn't matter if it's 2 or 3 rice cakes. It doesn't matter. You don't have to cut the rice cakes in half to get exactly 20 carbs. Just have 2 this time, 3 next time. Like, it doesn't fucking matter.
Dude, that's insane. I didn't realize that was her first and second show.
Yeah.
So awesome.
That's the wild part.
That is nuts too. And every time I see the pictures, it's just shocking. And I have to, it's not just me, of course. I mean, Karina does most of the diet stuff for everybody. She does all the diet stuff for everybody. So
working with people that have talent and hard work is so much fun.
Yeah.
It's like driving a Ferrari.
Yeah, it's awesome when they tick all the boxes and they've just got that genetic structure for the category that they can be in.
Jackie wanted to say hello too.
Hey, my ears are ringing.
Hi.
There's her back. Crazy.
It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, and I think that's like almost maybe not a year ago, but 9 months ago.
I don't think she
That
has.
was
Does she have
during
anything?
Oh, was it during
Yeah, that
prep?
was during prep.
Yeah.
Does she have anything current up?
Jackie, what do you think makes you work so much harder?
This is not Jackie. This is DJ.
Oh,
Or it was Jack. Oh no, Jackie's there. I see her. Oh,
It's both.
Oh, wait, there she is. I was like, where did that extra voice come from?
DJ and Jackie joined at the same time. Try to confuse everyone.
this is the most estrogen we've had in one panel.
I don't know.
I have higher
high
estrogen
post show.
I think I have a higher estrogen than both DJ and Jackie combined.
That explains a lot, Todd. So what were you asking, Jackie?
I was just like, what makes you work so much harder than everybody else?
Oh, I just friggin' love it. I don't know. I just love going hard. It's just in my blood. So
Admirable.
thank you.
I think we really feed off each other too, because we're both like ultra competitive, and we get into the gym. We've trained a lot together over the initial few years. Everything I do, she does, or vice versa. So it just gets competitive, and then she translates that to her own training.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
good.
Situation.
I guess bodybuilding is just something that everybody who knows me, they never thought I would get into it. So I just wanted to like really prove people wrong.
Yeah.
So.
No.
That's wicked.
I have to see if I can find the before pictures. Those are the crazy ones.
Yeah.
She was like 98 pounds 5 years ago. She says she was skinny fat, 98
Yeah, I
pounds.
definitely was thinking that.
You got it on your IG?
It's on there, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere buried in there.
It's admirable, man. It's very rare to find. I think like we talk about genetic specificity, but even in male body, it's like male bodybuilding, you have the top 10 in the Olympia, which is like all basically driven mostly by genetics. But I think female competitiveness is almost even more rare, where it takes more.
Wow, that's wild.
That's insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so, it's so funny. Look at her face on the left. She did not want me to take these pictures when she first started. That was like her second or third day working out with me. I'm like, look, you're gonna want to take a before picture. I know you don't think you look good, but trust me. And she thanks me every time now.
It's wild. Talk about a transformation.
Yeah, because I don't really have any before pictures of myself. I just got a bunch of drunk Dave pictures.
I have a bunch of fat Paul pictures. Fat Paul in a miserable marriage pictures.
Paul with hair.
Paul with like receding hairline. I was in denial for about 8 years before I finally shaved it.
I have pictures from my first show and my first post-show photo shoot.
I've seen those. Yeah, you were small.
Yeah, I was a very strange-looking human.
So what's new, DJ?
I was Zach Efron.
You gotta give DJ some attention.
Yeah.
What's going on, DJ?
I tune in when I do my makeup, so I was just getting ready to run errands. So I always watch all I get ready, like
That's
most
awesome.
women, right?
Yeah, you're one of our 2 female viewers.
Gina and you. That's it.
All of my clients watch you guys.
Yeah.
Really?
Or female viewers.
Maybe
Yeah, if you see my YouTube tag in the comments, it's almost always Jackie, all the time.
That's so
You got
cool.
plenty of female viewers.
That's so cool.
DJ Zac Efron on a scale of 1 to 10, what is he?
He's 10 if I'm comparing him to a woman. I'm uncomfortable when men are way more beautiful than I could ever dream of being. It makes me uncomfortable.
You're selling yourself short.
What do you think he's we were talking about this earlier, you might have heard it, but what do you think I don't know if you saw the new trailer for his movie coming out, but what do you think he's like taking to change so drastically from?
I haven't seen him.
You want to pull the pictures back up?
Yeah, I'd be really
I saw
curious
one
to-
picture and he was just puffy.
Yes.
There was
what we were
so
saying.
much water. He was really, really puffy. But that was maybe like a month or 2 ago, because it was like one of those he grew up kind of things. It looks like he hit puberty almost.
Well, I mean, even in Baywatch though, he was like super lean, and then this is quite a few years later, but it's not like he's gotten significantly older.
Wait, there's a new Baywatch?
No.
He's
like 10
like
years
in a
old.
movie about a wrestling family, and he was on a vastly different cycle for this movie than he was for Baywatch.
Yeah, like, he looks absolutely ridiculous right now.
Are you able to pull those pictures up, Paul?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. Hang on, I closed it out.
I think he looks a lot soft and watery too, because all these Hollywood things are just transformations. They're not like putting a year into
right
a couple of years into getting
They
prepared.
change so quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what do you expect, right? You'll put on size, but it won't be looking as clean and dense.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I can't remember the Wolverine guy, whatever his name is. It's like
Hugh Jackman.
he's eating
There's
hamburgers
Zac Efron now.
box all day. Yeah, so like that compared to Baywatch, like what?
DJ's face.
To be fair, it's a bad picture. To be fair. You caught him at a bad time.
Well, but it's an honest one.
Yeah.
He
Wow.
looks like a less muscular version of my old He-Man action figure.
He does look like.
He does.
It's like if He-Man had a rough night at the club.
What is he getting ready for?
Instead of by the power of Grayskulls, by the power of spray tan.
What's that, DJ?
What role is he getting ready for? I don't keep up with anything Hollywood, so
He's playing a professional wrestler in a movie that
about this wrestling family, like I think it's called Iron Claw or Iron Family.
Iron Claw, yeah,
Iron Claw, yeah.
I'm aware of who he is, but I guess I've never seen him in anything, or I've never been aware that I was watching him.
Chase, who follows you?
No way.
Apparently,
Zac Efron follows
Zac
Chase.
Efron.
I don't know.
We got to
Who-
suss this out. Suss it out.
What are you talking about, Chase? Who follows you?
Yeah,
I
totally.
sent-
Zac Efron?
I sent
I'm sussing this out.
what's his name? I sent Colin pics of my before and after my 10-year transformation. I think it might have been 11-year.
What, on Instagram?
Chase says no.
I didn't think you were going to be on today, Todd. You were up to you texted me after I was in bed. I didn't think you were going to make it on.
Oh, dude, I can always wake up for this. I went to bed at 6 a.m.
Oh man, Todd, we were envisioning Todd peeling the paper or peeling the aluminum foil off his windows and waking up to get on the podcast.
Oh, I don't peel that shit off. No way. The window's open.
I decided to randomly text you at 10 p.m. You didn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah, it was weird.
Chase said he was joking. He was talking about he's following his lead on the HGH.
Oh. No,
Gotcha.
I thought
Well, he can certainly afford
that I thought it was a joke, like a knock-knock joke.
Oh, when I text you?
Yeah, well, we can't say that. I'll channel what you texted me in the middle of the night. I was like, because we'll get censored.
I don't think we've dipped into demonetization territory.
No, we haven't yet. Once we do, though, it's like
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, 5 more minutes so I can win my.
Is
bet.
it a full moon? Like Todd Lee showing restraint?
I'm on my
Should we
best
get some-
behavior because there's a lady present. Jackie.
Oh, it's a good one. All right.
Should we get some questions in?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess. We'll end the bullshit portion of the broadcast.
That's the best part.
I agree. Help some people. Jason actually paid cash money to ask his questions. He says, how much of a lowering of estrogen does 200 to 300 milligrams of Masteron on 300 milligrams of test realistically do? I'm a bit chunky. Secondly, how would you dose NAD subcutaneously? Amino Asylum has some at 100 milligrams per milliliter.
For the first question, like it's individual specific, you might not even get any like suppression of aromatization. You could just get the estrogen receptor modulating effects.
Yeah. You won't do as well being chunky either, to be honest. Like the leaner you are, the easier E2 control is going to be.
100%.
Yeah.
More
If you were
aromatized
just
enzyme
use
production.
Primo instead of Masteron, I would say 300 to 300 will give you a 40 estradiol, assuming you're like 10 to 15% body fat. But as that body fat creeps up, aromatization is amplified. And I don't think any of us even know how to work. I don't want to say we don't know how to work with someone who's over 30% body fat, but it's case by case basis. We don't have the statistical pool to have a working model to where we can intuit how someone over 30% body fat is going to respond to anything.
Yeah. I was also going to say, how do you know you have estrogen issues at 300 milligram testosterone? Like, how do you know? You know, unless you test.
Yeah.
And then one other thing that I always like to consider too is like how long have you been using PEDs? Because we obviously know longer exposure to more gear and higher dosages will lead to an increase in androgen receptor density. That's going to allow you to handle higher doses or more tests without any side effects. So if you are new to this, like you're going to get more aromatization than somebody who's say seasoned at using these PEDs and say used high doses in the past and they've just basically gotten back into it.
Absolutely.
So
I
there's
used to get
a lot of variables.
I used to get high estradiol. I think when I first started working with Todd, my estradiol was like 300 on 250 milligrams of testosterone. It was wild.
Shit.
I do like 800 now and have zero issues like at all.
Yeah, same with me, man. I'm running 750, 1,000 with no AI. Of course, I'm running Primo with it, but no problem.
As far as the NAD dose goes, I mean, dude, it's like, how old are you? Do you even really need NAD?
I have never used it.
What is it even for? Like mitochondria?
Yeah, like mitochondrial function and redox and like there's a lot of it's complicated cellular work, but it's like I'd argue that
any
most
real
people,
data that there's actually clinical significant. So,
That's
but
also hard
clinically
to
significant outcomes. Like, am I going to live longer, lift more weights, have bigger muscles, or be less fat from using this drug? If not, it's a waste of money.
And that's kind of like the hard part is like if the theory of the benefit would be in its your longevity essentially, and like maybe momentary performance behavior because of mitochondrial density, but I don't think it's so fucking expensive, and like an effective dose, we don't even know if subcutaneous or intramuscular is bioavailable. We don't even know if taking it orally is bioavailable. Like, it's just, don't even play with it. Like a lot of YouTubers make really good content about it. I will say that Steve is one of them, but I just think for the majority of people, especially if you're not above the age of like 45 to 50, it's probably something you should just completely forget about and focus on the basics.
So let's look at this with common sense approach. Is like, if they come out with a drug in 2020 and they're like, this is going to make you live longer, but you haven't tested it for 100 years on thousands of people to see if the people who used it actually lived longer. All you have is a bunch of rat data, and we're not rats. Only Icky Vicky thinks that we're a bunch of rats and we should extrapolate rat data to humans.
Icky Vicky.
I think venturing into polypharmacy in general, when you don't really have the basics mastered too, because if you're already not understanding how to modulate your estrogen levels, that's if you're a higher body fat percentage, like self-proclaimed chunky, it's probably best to leverage your DHT derivatives instead of trying to play with them and pushing on the 300 milligrams of test.
I was going to say, keep it super simple. Just get a calorie deficit and do some cardio and get leaner, and you can take more testosterone.
Cardio would help with the mitochondrial efficiency too. I mean, like, he's probably going to get more bang for his buck doing, say, a shit ton of zone 2 cardio, then a little bit of zone 4 cardio, as opposed to blowing his wallet on NAD plus.
Go get some cold exposure if you're worried about your mitochondria.
If he's going to blow his wallet on anything, get in touch with one of you fine gentlemen, and so he can get his blood work done, have somebody knowledgeable read it, and give him a roadmap to follow. Because if he's willing to spend $10 and asking these 2 questions, you be a better investment to just sign up for coaching. Honestly,
don't buy the NAD, hire a coach.
The NAD would literally cost you probably just about as much a month as the coach would. So. Yeah, that's also true. I did it for a while and it fucking sucks.
This dude's jacked. Who the fuck's this Josh M guy? You guys know him?
Josh is one of my clients.
Oh, okay. Paul and Josh. Didn't he? Was he the Masters guy over 50 who just won something?
No. Josh is young. He just won his last show.
Josh, I can't see your face because I'm blind. I'm not calling you old.
No, Josh is young. He is.
I actually went to get my eyes fixed, and they said we don't have machines powerful enough to even understand how fucked your eyes are.
Josh gets shredded, and Josh gets very shredded, and he's extremely difficult on himself, or hard on himself.
I think we all are in some capacity.
Yeah, he's like one of my best looking clients, and he's very critical of himself. So
it's probably part of the reason why he's one of your best clients.
That's why he looked great.
I don't even look at my check-in stuff. I just throw it up in group chat.
Yeah.
Josh has a crazy physique when he gets peeled. He was ripped at his last show. I mean, he was peeled. He was dug out.
EJ, are you drinking a LaCroix?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
the hard stuff.
Yeah, the hard stuff.
That's how I get 80% of my water in.
Is that the crust dog? Oh, that's the other dog.
Who's this fearsome beast again?
This is Rose, the old one.
Oh
my goodness,
adorable!
You can tell she's old.
She have a little ponytail.
She's 15.
That's awesome.
Wow, that's an old ass dog.
My dog is like 11 now, and he's like 100 pounds. So, but he still acts like a puppy. His whole life he's acted like a puppy. He's half pit bull, half Great Dane, and I always was like, well, I'm just he's wild now, but eventually he'll start acting like an old man, and then that'll be easier to take care. He still acts like a fucking puppy.
Little dogs are like vampires; they never die.
They got the life force.
I had a pug that lived to be like 18.
Wow. It's awesome.
Have y'all seen the new medication they give to large breed dogs to increase their lifespan?
No. Is it? Can you get it for humans too? Or
I think it's like an IGF blocker or something.
Does it work on large breed humans?
Wait, we don't want that. IGF blocker, we don't want that.
It's Why am I forgetting it? Rapamycin. That's what they're giving large breed dogs.
Oh shit!
It got approval this year, I think.
Yeah.
But they have to be like 60 pounds or something, and I have like a bunch of dumb dogs that are under 10
Well,
pounds.
I have dogs that are
David,
3
David
times
Sinclair's
that. So.
probably in a room somewhere getting a hard on.
I have my 2 mastiffs that maybe I should get it for them. They don't live very long, unfortunately.
Yeah. And they're amazing dogs too.
Beautiful.
They're great dogs that don't live very long. It's sad.
Yeah.
This thing will probably live till she's 20.
Oh, that's awesome.
We had my parents had what was she, a corgi that lived to be 19 and then died on choking on a piece of raw bacon.
Oh no!
What?
Of all the things, she didn't have any teeth left. Of all the things that could take her out, it was my dad fed her bacon, and my mom was so mad at him. She choked on it and died.
Oh my god!
Shit.
I
But
can't
I'd say
imagine.
You
That
think
might have
that'd
been
be
one
an
thing.
easy fix. Like you just stick your finger in and scoop it out.
I don't. Well, I think she went away. Like he gave it to her and she ran off, and they found her later in the corner with the bacon hanging out of her mouth.
No, that's
So
unfortunate.
maybe
that's
something else
horrible.
happened. But
Oh my god, that's horrible.
I'd say 19 is a pretty good run, though.
That's one of the only times your mom probably ever got mad in her life.
I had 2 Rottweilers growing up. The first one died from bone cancer. That was horrible to watch.
That sucks.
And
Yeah,
then
it's
the
terrible.
second one, he was only a puppy, and one of our neighbors basically they tried to say that he was like basically bitten by a snake. There was no snake bite. He consumed like poison. They'd literally
Oh
just
man,
baited
people.
him.
Yeah, I've
That's
heard of people
horrible.
saying
So
that shit.
I just keyed the shit out of their car. I
Yeah.
knew they fucking poisoned him.
Oh,
So I just keyed the shit out of
I'd say you went light on him, bro. I hate to tell you what I would have done, especially when I was young. Before like my rational side like fully grew in. I was an emotional child.
I mean, like if you kill someone's pet on purpose, your life's
Yeah.
forfeit.
I mean, I feel like they've made 4 movies about that, and they're gonna make a few more. Right? Like John Wick. Like,
There's a special place in hell for people that
I would have made
inflict
John
pain
Wick
on
look like
others.
fucking Bob Ross if somebody went after one of my pets.
Oh, did you guys see that Bob Ross video I shot in the group chat? Jack Black is Bob Ross.
Yes. Oh, it's so good. So
I
good.
missed that one. I have to see that.
I'll try to find
I
it
love
again and
Jack
send it to
Black.
you. Oh, he's legend.
He's so fucking funny.
He's
But how
been pretty
good was
quiet
Bob
for the
Ross,
last
though?
10
Like,
years.
Bob Ross
No,
was a legend.
he's doing lots of stuff.
Kid stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, and he like toured with his band a few times, like
Tenacious D.
yeah, Tenacious D, and he's been doing, like just movies that I'm not really into, but he's been active.
I was laughing when I found out that his parents are rocket scientists.
Yeah, his mother
wow.
is like literally like, was she the one who like helped figure out how to get the astronauts who were stranded in Apollo 13 back down to Earth safely? I think.
One
Like
of
while
the
she
people,
like
yeah.
she helped like work that out while she was like in the hospital getting ready to deliver him, finished the math, handed it off, and then popped Jack Black out into the world.
Oh man, that's
Fucking-
fucking crazy. To use the
That's
moon
wicked.
as a slingshot. She's like, here's the formula to use the moon's gravity.
Yeah, I'll look it up. I can't. It was something like that. I probably fucked it up, but
Yeah, I did know that his parents were one or both of them worked for NASA, which is
I
wild.
remember watching. Remember Neverending Story? Jack Black was in that.
Yeah.
I remember he was the bully in the Neverending Story.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that. That's funny.
I didn't make the connection until I watched it years later. I was like, shit, that's Jack Black.
That's
Oh my
hilarious.
God.
Now I gotta look.
fact check.
Yeah.
Yes, Jack Black's mother worked on system that helped save Apollo 13 astronauts.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
That's insane.
I can't tell you how many nights, though, talking about Bob Ross, Jackie and I have taken way too many edibles and smoked and just sat quietly and watched Bob Ross do his magic.
That's amazing.
They have it on Netflix. You can still go through and watch
That's
Bob Ross.
awesome. That would be a very very peaceful
It is.
experience.
Puts me right to sleep every time.
Yeah.
The documentary I watched about him, it was pretty wild. How he got like screwed over multiple times, but
Yeah.
it was really wild.
He's a case study in like how best to handle adversity is not to hold on to the bitterness and just he chose happiness and peace.
Yeah, I think he got basically like scammed out all his money. It was the story. I don't remember. It was like the producers or something of his show basically took all of his money. It's pretty wild.
It was a lot easier to do back then.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we didn't have the internet or cell phones, so
yeah, lawyers were able to steal people's money. Remember how many times did the people's accountants steal all their money back in the day? Now you can manage your own money. You don't need a stockbroker and an accountant and a business lawyer. You can just do it yourself. But it's like you shouldn't, but you can. It's like for instance, like with Cash App, you can literally trade on your phone. You don't. Whereas you used to have to call a stockbroker and then tell them what to do, and they would do it, and hopefully the price wouldn't change that much between the effects. And it's just it's so strange how things used to be done and how
even
easy
getting money out.
now.
You used to have to go to the bank teller and get the money out physically from the person, but now you can literally you can transfer money on your phone and pay with your phone.
Yeah, I'm old. I remember doing business that way. I saw somebody writing a check at the grocery store the other day. I'm like, people still do that?
My dad.
I wasn't even sure they'd still.
Oh my god!
I didn't even think they still accepted checks. I thought they would have ruled that out. Yeah.
I guess
I
not.
carry a checkbook.
No way.
I still do checkbook. Always have registry and checks. Yeah.
Really?
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Other than the IRS, I haven't written a check in years.
I don't even remember the last time I had cash. To be honest with you, it's pretty bad.
I don't keep it around either.
I haven't kept cash in me in years. I think I brought some down to Columbus. I think I brought like $20 for emergencies, but
yeah, I still do. Yeah, cash the way to go.
You know, just
no ID required.
Drug for buying drugs and visiting strip clubs. Really, it's just
great. Unfortunately, strippers still transact in cash.
It's funny that you can call someone a stripper, but there's so many things you can't call people anymore on the internet.
Well, I mean, it's what are you?
Exotic
dancer, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say is exotic dancer. I think if you can't call a flight attendant a stewardess, I don't know why you could call an exotic dancer a stripper. Right?
I hadn't been to a strip club in like 20 years. One of my buddies pried me out.
There's strip clubs now.
What's that?
Have you been to? There's cashless strip clubs now.
Really?
You go in and
just
exchange
swipe your credit card on their ass crack.
You go in. They
just like tap them on the forehead.
Goods at the end of the night. They do their dances. They do all their private dances. They get paid in chips, like in Vegas, and then they go and exchange their at the end of the night cash payouts.
Would you give like a credit card before you go in or something?
I was not partaking in all of the private dances, so but I think you just go up to the front and you exchange your cash. You bring in cash like you exchange.
Cash up.
They give you like a bunch of like those like party favor like things where you pull the string and it shoots out confetti. So since you can't make it rain with cash, is that?
You just throw
coins at them.
Maybe an risk.
They wear goggles to protect the eyes. You know?
Have you guys ever noticed that
honestly,
Josh is always right? Have you ever noticed Josh is always right? He's like I don't what's
Josh who?
Josh is always right.
Yeah, he's on point.
Joshua Perry says strippers take Cash App. It's a brave new world we live in.
Joshua is clearly a man of culture and a worldly individual.
But it doesn't matter what the subject is. Someone will ask a question and
we may have veered off course back into bullshit territory. I hate to say it.
Yeah. So you're saying we should do a few more questions?
I mean, it's not. It's just so Paul. You want to answer any more questions?
Let's do some questions. It's the people's show. It's not my show.
The people's show.
The people's show.
See, we got
says the emperor.
A training question, a drugs question, and a silly question. What do you guys want?
Silly question.
Silly question. Yeah.
Silly question. All right, right back into bullshit. Is White Claw a good intra-workout? Now, obviously, I know the answer is no, but I beg you to play a game. If one had to use an alcoholic beverage as an intra-workout, what would be the best one to use?
Vodka.
Yeah.
That was quick.
Well, are we talking like mixed drinks too?
Well, that's true. Yeah, fuck it. Why not? Yeah, cocktails included.
So 2014, I had a pre-workout called Wicked 2.1, and basically, I didn't drink, but I knew many women that drink. So it was flavored lemon, so it could be mixed with vodka. So it would be like, I guess that's something. And it ended up working out like a Mike's Hard lemonade. It was perfect. And then the vodka gets burned off as energy, kind of like MCT oil, but it doesn't cause diarrhea like MCT oil. So that vodka is actually a pretty good pre-workout for energy that wouldn't cause insulin to go up.
I know. What was it? Chris Duffin was so big on whiskey before deadlifts and shit for a while.
Yeah, but those
I remember he would have his
animal.
whiskey and deadlifts thing.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Wouldn't alcohol be a vasodilator too, or is it constrict the vascular system?
I don't remember. I think it inhibits vitamin K or something. But
yeah. I would do probably a margarita just so you have some fructose in there.
Yeah,
yeah, and you get a little bit of salt around the ring or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm thinking about something you put in a shaker cup and take with you, like a proper lush, not like you're going to go to Chili's and get fajitas and margaritas before you go to the gym so you can puke all up.
Shaken martini.
God damn it.
I'm going to say Guinness.
No.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to say Guinness.
Chunks everywhere.
Throw up.
I would not. Absolutely won't.
Yes, you would.
I'll drink Guinness next time I work out. I'll fucking record it. I
You
won't
should.
throw up.
That'd be a piece of content.
Smoke a joint, drink a Guinness, and then go to the workout.
I know
Don't threaten
Jackie's
me with
would
a good
be,
time.
I know what Jackie's would be. It'd be an Irish car bomb. Knowing
Irish
her.
car bomb.
No. Whenever
What's
she's ready
that?
to party, it's Irish car bomb.
It's Guinness with a Jaeger you drop in there. Is that
No, it's
Bailey's?
Jameson, Bailey's,
Jameson
and Guinness.
Oh God.
Slam it right down.
Sounds like a headache.
haven't had that since I was in my early
Is that
20s.
like-
I remember having Irish car bombs one night, some fucking college party, like a town away from where I was going to school, and ended up in like a completely different house at the end of the night with people I didn't know. Good time.
You know the wine, the sacks of wine that you can buy, like the bags of wine.
Yeah, slap the bag.
In Australia, they call them goon sacks. what was really common is in high school parties and like straight out of high school, like early like college, university, if you had like a clothesline in your backyard and you had a party at your house, you'd get pegs and you'd hook one of those goon sacks to the clothesline and you basically just like run around and drinking it. Like
Nothing says I'm classy like bagged wine.
I don't know.
Bag of wine.
Can't help you on that one. I don't drink anymore.
So says the guy that has an entire wardrobe that is constituted of sweatpants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had a sip of alcohol since I've had a sip, but I haven't had like full-fledged fucking night of drinking since I was like 18, 19.
Yeah, I haven't been like drunk. In
Yeah, I
years,
don't-
probably like 5-6 years.
I never drink to the point where I like get hungover the next day anymore. It's a point in time is behind me now.
Yeah, I was actually 3 years sober on the
Congrats,
New England Championship.
It's awesome, man.
On
awesome,
stage,
bud.
3 years to the day.
That's
Yeah,
what's
you've
up.
definitely changed your life around.
Yeah, feel much better.
I'm sure you
23
do.
years for me.
Good for you, man.
You should.
All right, next question.
All right.
What we got?
Let's see.
Can we do the shortness of breath one? I've
Yeah,
do
sure.
that all the time.
Jimmy Kim wants to know how to deal with bloating and shortness of breath while using insulin.
This is
So
confusing. I would say that if you were doing your walking post meals, that might improve everything to the point where you could use less insulin. What? Oh, I'm sorry, Colton, you talk because I
No.
you
I
understand
mean,
what you're talking about.
I think that's a great point. Like controlling insulin in and of itself just by a better lifestyle practice is great. But I was going to say like insulin can cause pulmonary hypertension.
Y'all, I have my I'm sorry to interrupt. I didn't realize I'm so stupid. I made an appointment for ADHD diagnosis or whatever, like an appointment with the doctor to see if I have ADHD.
You have
Irony here.
And I made it during and it snuck up on me. I happened to look at my phone. It's like happening in a minute. Y'all think I might have it?
Honestly, Colin, I can tell you now, somebody who's been diagnosed with it, they
Sometimes
will probably
the things that you schedule, they just sneak up on you. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll see you later.
See you later, Colin.
Bye.
No, so you can skip the appointment. You're diagnosed.
Yeah, like he's got to be for sure.
But
insulin can cause pulmonary hypertension, so that's one thing. Sort of like trenbolone can, which is not. You can't measure it in a sense, right? It's more in your breathing apparatus, but I think that a lot of it is likely also angiotensin related. So if you were to take something like telmisartan and maybe just bring down angiotensin a little bit, that excess edema around your vasculature and specifically like your cardiac tissue might help a little bit. But most importantly, and I say this like so often because I just don't think people do it, is like cardio is king. It's like do your fucking cardio, get on top of your shit, and
it's just to me it just sounds like someone who's out of shape and they're blaming the insulin. But you actually have a scientific answer for what it was, and I realized like you're basically just assuming this guy doesn't know what he's talking about with his own body, and Colton has something smart to say. Just let Colton talk.
Yeah. One other thing too is like, what's his diet like? Is his electrolyte intake standardized? That's one other thing.
Yeah. Like if you're eating fucking burgers and pizza and you have like fat asses of sodium and MSG coming in, like you're gonna be breathing like a fat ass for sure.
I would say 99% chance it's not the insulin. It's something lifestyle related. Yeah. But I realize like Colton may actually know that insulin directly causes shortness of breath, and I don't know that. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to hear what you had to say, man.
Yeah, I mean it's pulmonary hypertension. Same thing that trend can do. It is just if you're not taking care of yourself, just like normal hypertension, you'll get it. So it's just like do fucking cardio, bro.
I'm also curious of like what stage. I'd imagine he's trying to grow, if he's using insulin. I'd imagine, I also wonder what stage he's in. Is he kind of blown out and way too much water retention at the top end of like a middle rebound, and that's causing really shortness of breath, not the insulin, as you say,
Yeah, that's a good point. If you just recently put on 20, 30 pounds, it's going to be a lot to adapt to.
Yeah. Every time I'm in the situation where I'm bloated and shortness of breath, it's because I'm sitting down after a big meal, not walking around.
Yeah, or bending over to rather than shoes up. That's horrible.
Oh, that's horrible. That's why I just have slip-ons. But
And the reason I was going to say is like I'm 30 pounds up now from six weeks after the show, and it's come on clean. But I've kept 40 minutes of cardio every morning because I'm
that's a lot of cardio.
I mean, I
didn't do that much on prep.
That's what I was doing on prep, and I just kept it in because I felt good, and I enjoy it too, and I wanted to experiment and see how I was feeling, if that was going to affect my weight gain. And obviously the food was way too powerful at that time, but it's definitely helped with, I anticipated feeling, sluggish and out of breath, and it's definitely helped me. So maybe that's something Jimmy can try, is up your cardio a little bit, get a little bit better cardiovascular health for sure.
I found the sweet spot is 30 minutes 3 times a week. Although John Jewett is advocating, and I know that Justin feels this way, HIIT cardio is better for off season because you don't have to do as much of it, but you train your legs anabolically rather than catabolically. Because the big problem I run into with doing cardio in the off season is that if I do it, my legs are tired and sore from the cardio, and then it affects my training. But if I don't do cardio, then my lungs are weak and I can't get through a leg day. So there's this sweet spot. And I think John's point is you can make 12 minutes very heart focused rather than doing 30 minutes, which is no focused.
Yeah.
And that's, like the way I used to program people's HIIT was 30 seconds on, 60 seconds off. But if that's even hard, 20 seconds on, 40 seconds off. And I actually have a playlist. 40. Yeah, I have a playlist made up so that it's almost set up that there's a 20-second chorus and then a 40-second verse, then a 20-second chorus, so that I know at what point of the song I'm going to pedal hard and what point of the song I'm going to back off. And then the playlist is like 4 or 5 songs, so I can choose to do a 4-minute, an 8-minute, a 12-minute, based on how many songs am I going to do of that playlist.
John was also using battle ropes too, which I thought was smart on his last video. You know, going from the bike, battle rope back and forth, giving the legs not like a consistent beating. You know,
I just feel so embarrassed to use battle ropes because I've made fun of people for so long doing them.
I won't use that. But one thing that is awesome is the assault bike. You know, the one where you have to push with your hands. That thing rocks, and it's like I do hit almost every single day because I thoroughly believe in it, and I've never had detriments to my training. It's just only improved my outcomes.
I have an assault bike in my garage that has about 1 inch of dust on it.
Well, Colin, it's all about dose. It's dose response. So it's like you don't overdo it, and you can recover fine.
I do like 5-10 minutes max, you know, and it's like that's not going to stop you from making progress. It's just going to help.
Yeah.
When is the best time? Because I don't want to drive to the gym to do 5 minutes of cardio, drive home, wait 6 hours, and go back to the gym to lift.
I just do a post-workout, honestly.
Post-workout? All right.
Which might be the wrong answer, but dude, it works, and I've had no issues. So,
what about pre-workout? You think it's going to get in the way of training? Pre-workout?
Well, post-workout, you already got that elevated heart rate, so it's kind of ideal to do it because it's not going to take as long for you to get into that
okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. More efficient.
Well, I will start. I'll start adding in like 5 minutes, which is 5 iterations.
5 minutes, man. That shit will help so much.
Do you do a warm-up phase for 5 minutes, then do your 5 minutes of hit, then a 5 minute cool down?
Yeah.
Or you just get
on
on
the
machine?
Just from the jump, just go straight fucking hard as much as I can, but I'm psychotic, so.
Well, you're 26, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have like functional tendons. They're not like brittle and calcified.
Yeah, like mine. Every workout is constructed by first and foremost
not getting hurt.
How do I not get hurt?
How do I not get hurt? 30 minutes. 30 minutes of mobility stuff before I do my first warm-up set.
Danny LaMartina, when she was looking at my back workout, she was talking about putting deadlifts or maybe some rack pulls back in, and I'm just like there. I'm like, oh.
Yes,
I don't know about that.
Back snaps.
I think my deadlifting and rack pull days are behind me. If I do them, I'll do them at the end of the workout and do them lighter.
Yeah, I've had to manage my lower back pumps throughout this whole rebound. That's another reason keeping cardio in has been helpful for sure.
Can be a bitch on the rebound, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's get one more question, and I got to wrap up. I could have another call coming up.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get a training question in. Shades has tips for building legs, quads specifically with knee pain.
There's a lot of good thoughts on this.
Yeah, I remember Todd telling me, I told him that skull crushers hurt my elbows. This is another Toddism. I'm like, what should I do? And he's like, don't do skull crushers.
It's so funny because I
don't do it.
I just hurt my knee like 2 days ago, and I didn't know I hurt it until yesterday. And then here, boom, it's the quad question about knee pain. I'm like, well, I'm not qualified to answer that one. And then you guys are like, Todd knows it. So I was like, I would say belt squat is my favorite, and of course that's how I got hurt. But I've been doing it for a year now. And so probably it's stale for me, but belt squat is the best, going light and focusing on isolating the quads and getting 15 to 20 reps on leg exercises. If you start having cardiovascular failure before you hit muscular failure, that's when you refer to what we just talked about, which was the hit cardio is a preparation for next week's leg workout. Also, a lot of knee pain comes from tight IT bands. So you need to foam roll your IT bands, even though people like Ben Yates says that, the massagers are dildo guns and you don't need them, and foam rollers don't do anything. I can guarantee you if I don't use the foam roller and I go do squats, my knees hurt. And if I use the foam roller on my IT band, I can feel blood flow into my quad and I get a quad pump when I'm training. Yeah. So as smart as a lot of these smart kids are, that there's something that dudes who've been lifting for 30 years, longer than those kids have been alive, have figured out that's probably true. Based on the fact that we're now coming to the scientific conclusion that the stuff that they were doing 100 years ago was right.
Yeah.
No,
Like
I think the IT band one is so accurate, though. I like clients got knee pain, try your IT band, and it's like instantly, hey, it's better. You know, it's like 99% of the problem.
Even if it's quadratus laborum lower back.
IT bands instead of the actual quad.
Yeah, they don't know where their quad is versus their IT band.
Yeah,
and then they get jacked up because of the scar tissue.
I've had 5 knee operations. Both of my ACLs replaced, and my MCL done, and 2 scopes for cartilage. And what I've done, and I don't, this is probably not the most optimal for somebody young, but I do my heavy squatting movement at the end of my workout.
Yeah,
I'll start off with leg extensions, leg curls, maybe even some adductor stuff, and then I'll do my hack squats or belt squats or whatever I'm doing for my.
Yeah,
I did that for years, and then Israel talked me out of it with his videos, not directly. And then they just started. I think he just started coming around to the idea that professional bodybuilders might need to pre-exhaust their quads before doing their compound lifts. Yeah, and it's like it's frustrating.
I don't even do it to pre-exhaust. My thought process is if I put it at the end of my workout, one, I'm going to be warmed up. And then the other part is I don't have to use as much weight. So I probably am lowering the risk of injury. It's just that simple. I used to do everything first, and I definitely could move more weight and probably got more out of it. I don't know. My legs aren't as big as they were when I was younger.
Yeah, I just have to remember, like the audience that Dr. Mike is talking to don't have the problem that they're too strong for their structure.
Yeah.
You know, and I see like a lot of my clients starting weights, I'm astonished. Like what kind of weights they use. Like their incline bench is 135 pounds. They're on a gram of gear when they come to me, but their incline bench is 135 pounds.
Wow,
I'm like, I was doing that when I was in middle school. Why are you on steroids already?
If this is drug free, that's scary.
Yeah, and it's like normal, like, or their squat is 90 pounds because they don't do legs. And it's like, I don't think we need steroids. I think we need to learn how to lift weights and do it for 5 to 10 years and grow a foundation. But that's not what they want to hear. So the HRT is still a useful tool for someone, but it's like almost every question is a drug question. But I'm sure if we saw these guys lift, their lifting is atrocious and they are not strong at all. Like, so there's no reason why they would need steroids to recover from a workout that couldn't possibly be hard.
You are right about the form, though. A lot of times when I see people either having problems growing a muscle or having pain, it's almost always shit form. They think it's recovery, or they're not recovering enough, or there's something else going on. It's usually crap form. Usually is what I see.
Every time I onboard a client, I see them doing like side laterals with their like thumbs up like this.
Yeah,
you know, like
biceps.
And I'm like, what do you like? This is your medial delta is not right here. It's way back here.
You're working your front.
And it's like shit like that, dude. The internal external rotation of the humerus, the positioning of your femur. It's like those things are so simple, and it's just they never learn the cue.
Like, I'm an experienced lifter, and just like having Danny LaMartina go through and diagnose my form on my back exercises, I'm like, holy fuck, she's right. I am. Like, she was like, do you do any trap work? And I'm like, no. And she's like, well, your traps are huge. It's because you're using your traps for the majority of your rowing movements, and same thing with your rear delts. And I'm like, God damn it, man. Like, it was, I never really even thought about it, but she's right.
No, it's extremely common. That's very common. I see that with a lot of young kids, big traps, no back or shoulders. They're bringing their traps into their shoulder movements or their traps into their back movements very, a lot.
What did she tell you to do, Paul? Or did she give you any corrections?
Yeah, she did. She was showing me positioning, like how to change my positioning on the exercise. And part of it was I was rowing up. I was shrugging while I was rowing. Mm-hmm. I was also rowing back too far. Like I was pulling back too far. She was telling me to stop. Part of it was getting my back actually humped over the pad versus sitting upright. Which I have never done. I always like in my head that's bad posture, but that was she corrected that. It was just little tweaks, and it completely changed how I did the movements. Just small changes, nothing dramatic.
Check this out. That Kuba did a video with Hollingshead in Kojo's gym where Kuba is teaching James how to train back.
Yeah,
Very politely, because obviously James is a higher ranked bodybuilder than Kuba. But when you watch it, it's like Hollingshead's embarrassed because he realizes that he's at that level. He's been doing this for that long. He's got a big back, but he doesn't really know how to train back. And like one of my favorite things is I imagine like it's football and I've got the helmet with the grill, right? And I imagine someone's grabbing my grill and driving my head back. And so rather than doing this shit, which is what everyone does when they train their back.
Yep, I was doing it.
Yeah.
And I've got my spine totally bolt upright like it's fused. And that pretty much just getting into position like that totally changes how you can train the back. And I often find myself when I'm struggling, I'm going to protract to stretch out and I tuck my head in. I've got to remember to push my head back even though I'm protracting my shoulders forward. So this rather than that.
Yeah, I was doing the head thing. She was showing me to pick a point in front of me and keep my eyes locked on that point. I was definitely doing that. I mean, I have a wide back. I think I have a fairly big back, but it's just like it's definitely deficient in the middle. It's the same thing with going back to this guy's knee pain thing. I'll see a lot of guys when they are doing leg presses or hack squats that you'll see them flare. You know what I'm talking about, where they flare their knees, and it's just like I want to cringe. You can literally see the torque being put on the joint.
Yeah.
I think I
was probably doing that yesterday.
What's that?
I was going to say, I think with knee pain, because I've experienced, my background was football and wrestling, and my knees as a 200-pound running back, everyone just beat the shit out of my knees all the time. So, but what I was going to say is what I needed to learn was how to properly warm up my knees before I got into some of these big movements, and just as simply as putting blood around the area, warming it up. And the other thing I'd suggest to him, so find the thing that warms up that area, that joint well for you. For me, it's just extensions. The other thing is possibly just, elevating your heels, or maybe like my pendulum squat at my gym has the platform being able to adjust forward and back. And I had to find my sweet spot so that way I could properly get a little bit of knee over toe action and not hurting my knees, not having too much tension on that joint.
Yeah.
So this right here, even if it isn't very useful for what it's designed for, it keeps your knee warm.
Yeah.
And then also like the squat shoes are critical because most of the time, if you're not driving through your heels, the tension isn't on your quad, certainly not your lateral quad. It's on your knees and your medial quad.
Mm-hmm.
And usually the more medial quad strength, it has to be a balance, but if your IT band is tight, it's pulling your patella to the right or laterally, and it's going to cause lateral quadricep tendon pain. Whereas a lot of times, if you try to drive your knee as far over your toes as possible, that's great for building your quad around the knee. That doesn't help with the sweep. The sweep, your heel has to be down. So a lot of the videos on the internet about building quads is about building the distal part of the quad around the knee, which is what also damages the knee. Whereas if you really want to build the lateral quad or the sweep, it's almost like your heel has to be down and your toe almost has to be up. The other thing is there's 3 points of contact. Imagine my hand is a foot. We want our heel down. We want to push on the lateral blade of our foot, and we want our big toe to grip the floor and pull on it. If you can grip the floor and pull on it and rotate a little bit, you can really activate that lateral quad. If you're not actively activating your lateral quad, it probably isn't going to activate, which means your medial quad and adductor might actually take over. If your feet are too wide, it's going to be a lot of adductor. If your feet are too everted, your knees are going to track inside the big toe line, and then it's going to probably damage your knee in that way. But you want your knee to track along with your big toe.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about with the knee flaring, where you see it. You know what I'm talking about? You did a better job explaining it than I did, but that's I see a lot of problems.
I think to prevent the knee flaring, you got to remember to push down with your big toe. If you push down with your big toe, you won't actually knee flare. Also, I believe you have to push with your big toe to activate the glutes. Not that we want to train the glutes, but if the glutes don't activate, what ends up happening is the lower back gets involved, and then the knee
what
gets
happens
involved.
to me.
Yeah.
My lower back takes over on squatting exercise. That's why I have a little ass.
I think more
Little butt.
to hire someone. If it's not an injury, it comes down to execution in one form or another, and people will not pay the money to have someone come run them through a workout, or they don't have access to people.
Women will.
That are actually
Women will,
knowledgeable.
women will hire a man to teach them how to lift, but they won't listen to a man about food. And then men will listen about food, but they won't listen about training.
Yeah, that's what I found.
I have so many issues with my male clients in training because they go, and remember, I have a lot of lifestyle clients that, they start as lifestyle, they have the aspirations to compete. And my biggest issue is they'll send me their videos and they're lifting the same amount of weight as me. And I'm 100 pounds. I'm 4'11". And I think it's hard for them to hear that from me specifically when I'm like, oh, we use the same weight. That's a problem. Fix that. That's why you're not growing. That's why you're my size.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One last quick thing about the knee pain too. If your heels are always coming off of the platform or off of the ground, you're relying on your knee to stabilize yourself all the time, and that can build up to weeks and weeks of just more chronic pain in your knees. So it is critical to have your heels, pushing through the floor for sure.
The hack that I like is warming up for legs. Like, honestly, do calf raises and see the hamstring curls before you just squat. Like, a hamstring curl will warm your knees up a lot more than a leg extension a lot of the time.
That's what I do.
Yeah, and the calves, you're stretching out your calf muscles so you get better dorsiflexion at the bottom.
I never thought about that. That's a good point.
Yeah, that's one thing I did, and it was a game changer because it just helped me a lot. But then also, just choosing exercises that like feel good for you. Like, I can't remember which one of you guys said it, but it's like, I think you said it, Todd. Like, if skull crushers hurt your elbows, don't do skull crushers. Like, choose a different exercise that basically loads the same action of that muscle.
Yeah.
What's funny is I never had knee pain, so I stopped doing it my way and started listening to other people's way. My way used to be that I would do calves first, then I would do adductors, then I would do hamstrings, then I would do.
Fuck me up if I do them before squats. I can do them light before squats, but if I'm going to go hard on them, like working sets, has to be after.
No, I always do sets of 20. So sets of 20 for calves, sets of 20 for adductors, sets of 15 for leg curls, sets of 20 for leg extensions. Then I would go to a leg press and do sets of 20. Then I would go to squats and do sets of 10. And that was how I built my legs. And ever since I started listening to other people about how to train legs, my legs have not really gotten better. They just got hurt. And the reason why I did it that way, I'm going to have to start, because the way I programmed it was based on defensive leg training. Is how do I not get hurt rather than what's best for hypertrophy.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I got to wrap this up. I got calls coming up and clients to do, check-ins. I've got people
cardio
today. Yeah, fuck cardio. Cardio, overrated. All right, guys, thank you for watching. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Keep coming back, keep supporting us. We really appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you.